All right. Looks like we're live. Awesome. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock here on the Gunsmith Show. All righty. What's up? Good. We are back after like a 2 week break. Man, what's going on? Cody, how you been, buddy? I'm so happy we're back doing the Gunsmith Show. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just wish that we had something a little bit better to talk about. This
Right,
is
right.
like nothing but frustrating.
I know, dude. Oh, man, it's just how much like I don't want to say that, but like this is one of those topics where it's like our first episode, like, oh, let's talk about generalized rules to follow as a gunsmith. Now it's the ATF is gonna make our lives a whole lot harder. But before we get into this discussion, and we're gonna introduce our guests here in a second, uh, this show is sponsored by Aegis Gun Care. They're out in the chat. What's up, Rod? Hope you're doing good, guys. Please check out Aegis Gun Care. Best damn lubricant in the game. If you use hashtag JoeJuice at your checkout, you save yourself 15% off your entire order. We really thank Aegis for sponsoring this show. And so, Cody, do you want to? But first, look who else we have on the panel. Our buddy.
Yeah.
Management is in the house. We have John Crump of Ammoland, Black Swan Media, John Crump News. Go check out his channel. He's kind of all over the place. Are you on MySpace yet? You got to follow Flying Rich over on MySpace.
I'm not going to MySpace. Ron Wayne, I did play the sax for a little bit, but I didn't like it. So there you go.
I can picture you being like a mean bass guitar player. Like you could like really work a bass guitar.
I don't have any dexterity in my fingers, so that's probably not the case.
No way. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got nerve damage in my right arm. That's why I had to have surgery.
Yeah, I remember when we were in Oaks, you were like, dude, my shoulder's freaking killing me.
Yeah.
That's what he got from beating up so many folks.
Yeah, that and going down Gay Street with Tony Simon.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. That was a tub accident. Huh?
Yeah, definitely. So Cody, why were
slipped in a tub?
Yeah, you slipped in a tub. Do you want to talk about why we haven't done a show in like 2 weeks?
Yeah, the thing's just been busy.
Just been busy. All right. That's
Joe's wife actually gave birth. The triplets are here.
No, that's false. That's false information. We don't spread fake news on this podcast. I see we got a bunch of people out there. We got Steven Sheets, Ron Wayne, 2A EDU, Jeff Cron. Who else do we got in the chat?
You got Saint Vinro.
Yeah, we have
JSD out there.
Yeah, we have JSD Supply in his house. I hope you liked your nice little plug I had in my last video that just aired at 8 o'clock tonight, Jordan. Thank you for all you do. You're amazing. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. That's why we called in the big guns. We called in management.
Talking about plugs.
Yeah, he's got the JSD shirt right there.
Yeah. So what's going on with like the 5X shirt? Okay, I'd love to have a JSD Supply shirt, but I think someone's got to, get on it with the 5X shirt.
Or you can get on a treadmill.
Whoa. Whoa.
Hey, dude. Hey, I'm overweight too, so I can throw those.
You can throw shade in that house?
Yeah. Now, if Cody threw it, that might be a different story.
I think Cody's too nice to throw shade at anybody. But so let's get into the topic at hand, gentlemen. So this week, our former vice president decided to drop a massive bomb on everybody and make our lives a living hell in terms of frames and receivers. All three of us, ironically, are really invested into the building community, the DIY community. I'm not really into 3D printing, but I know Crump and Cody, you guys are into like manufacturing your own guns, all that good stuff. We have the link to this ruling, all 364 pages in the top of the chat. So please check that out if you want to follow along with us. So, yeah, in terms of gunsmithing, this ruling is going to affect us. I know, Cody, you were saying you were listening to a EDU a couple days ago, and there was some misunderstanding because it is just so, hard to read this stuff and just trying to figure it out. When it comes to terms of gunsmith stuff, that this ruling it's going to be on page 290. It's going to be starting on page 296.
It starts on 295. Yeah, I'm trying to get the
295.
do right.
Okay, so the reason why we have John Crump here is because he is a little bit better at reading through this jargon than I am or Cody is, and plus he also wrote a bitchin' article on Ammoland News. I really would recommend you checking them out. It was a great article, great read. This is why I haven't done a video on it yet, because I want to get all the facts and make sure I fully understand what is going on with this. So Cody, I say you take it off of here, then we'll bounce it off from John. What do you think?
Yeah, that'll work. I just want to clarify, first of all, that I ain't even went through the whole thing yet. I had to step away because it's like the deeper you start looking into it, it gets more confusing the longer you dig into it. But I want the whole point of tonight's episode is our buddy 2AADU, who's really good and knowledgeable about the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and everything that goes into it, had a really good breakdown video kind of talking about everything on here. But one of the his big points that kind of like was upsetting him, I think he was a little bit misinformed on, where he was under the impression that these new rules is making a new like pseudo or second class gunsmith type person for the purpose of serializing and marking frames and receivers. But it actually goes in, if you come down here on where it's talking about the definition of gunsmith on page 295, and then you get down on right to the first paragraph on the next page, 296, where it starts talking about licensed dealer gunsmiths. And then further down, it starts talking about licensed manufacturer gunsmiths. It's not talking about like making different gunsmiths. It's clarifying which type of FFL license you will need for that gunsmith work, and clarifying that it for doing serial numbers and stuff like that, what he was talking about, you'll have to have a manufacturer FFL to be doing that. You can't do it as just a dealer, which that's already kind of the way things are now already. To be able to do markings and serial numbers and stuff, you have to be a licensed manufacturer to legally be able to do that. Just a regular dealer can't do that.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to clarify something to EDU. This is not to refute what you said, brother. Well, this is just so it gave us opportunity to talk about this, because there was some obviously miscommunication. We love you, buddy. I hope you're doing good. Thank you for the playing cards, by the way. I have them right here, right in front of me. I absolutely love them. I think we all need playing cards. Just wanted to clarify that. So
yeah, and I was also want to add on to that. I do want everybody to go check out his stream that he did the other day, because I said he has a lot of good information on there. It's just this one particular point I think he was a little mixed up on, and that's why I'm not going to go in depth into the whole thing. With this being a gunsmith podcast, we're going to focus on the actual parts that pertain to being a gunsmith, and in this case, home builders, which in a sense is amateur gunsmiths when you think about it.
Yeah. So, now, John, in this case, is this considered the final ruling after you read through all this? For people who might not know what this huge document is this considered the final ruling? Okay,
that is the final.
Ruling. Okay, this sucks, big time.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that is the final.
Great. Now, I think the one thing to definitely touch on is now what their big thing is they want serial numbers on everything. They, if you build a Polymer 80 or MUP1 from JC Supply, you need to have a serial number on the firearm, what they consider a firearm. It does go into clarification on what they're saying it. So as far as my knowledge is, before this ruling, for a gunsmith or an FFL to put a serial number on there, you would need to be required to have a Type 7 FFL, which is an SOT manufacturer's license, to put a serial number on that gun. Does this ruling, in a sense, kind of, what word am I looking for? Is it going against that, or is it also saying now everyone needs to be an 07?
No, I don't think it's saying everyone needs to be in 07. It's just that it's saying that you have to serialize, and it does give the ability for someone who is a gunsmith to serialize it to take it into your possession.
Yeah. So for you to take it into your books, you need to have a serial number. So say if you build a Polymer 80 or an MUP1, you want to sell it or you want to bring it in for even some work done to it. That needs to have a serial number for it to go into the books, or does the gunsmith need to put a serial number once it's in?
The gunsmith will have to serialize it once he takes possession of the firearm.
And this is effective 180 days, I believe, right? And if
120.
120? Oh, okay. I thought it was 180. So to make that a little bit easier to understand, that's going to make a gunsmith's job a lot harder. The amount of people that are building Polymer 80s that probably don't even know, there's different, you would think, okay, you when you build a 80% or even 3D printing, when it comes to 3D printing, I'm not really schooled up on that. Say you build like a 19 from a P80 frame. Cutting down the tabs, drilling the holes, doing all that stuff, making sure you get all the parts in. That's not just, it's going to work, but it's not going to be, as reliable as a standard one that has done a lot of work to it. Some people might feel uncomfortable working on a gun at that point. They want to bring it to a gunsmith. Now, what this does is it makes the gunsmith say, all right, well, now what you're doing is we need to have a serial number on the gun now. So it's going to make it even harder, and I think it's going to deter people from getting into private gun making and home builds and stuff like that. What do you think, Cody?
Yeah, it's definitely going to make things a little bit more complicated, but I don't think it's necessarily going to take away from the home building community anyways, because there's still a lot of the things that home builders can do, you can still do. It doesn't really touch on 3D printing and stuff. Really, it's changing things on the FFL side of things and more like the business type things, companies that's actually producing 80% frames, receivers, kits, stuff like that. And it actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Crump, but this was one of the first times where any of the rulings or anything, regulations, whatever, actually calls out parts kits by name or actually says parts kits in part of their things.
Yeah, you're right. For one thing, it's not going to affect people. Like if you are making your own firearms at your house or whatever, or finishing P80s or whatever that you have, you don't have to worry about it because it's not really that is not really something that it's going to affect you because you're not FFL, you're not in the commercial business of selling firearms. So therefore, the serialization component is not really on you. It's only on the FFLs and the dealers, and not so much on.
Yeah, not so much on the actual individual.
Correct.
And I want where TADU was pointing out about giving gunsmiths the ability to serialize. What they're pointing out is they're actually that's one of the few things that it does actually. And for those that's listening, I'm doing air quotes, clarify. is because before this ruling, it's been kind of a gray area for an FFL to work on what they're calling PMS, personal made firearms, where some FFLs are willing to work on it. And, there's the kind of going policy for doing it is if they're going to do something that doesn't require it to be logged in, like something just real quick during the day where they don't have to check it in and return it, they might do it. Or for folks that the bigger majority of FFLs, gunsmiths in that regard, just won't even do anything with a personal made firearm because of the fear of what the ramifications might be because it's not serialized. And then same thing, talking about being able to add a serial number, that's kind of been confusing for same type of thing, whether you're just a gunsmith working under a type 1 dealer FFL or you actually are an 07 manufacturer with the SOT and stuff, if you're able to do a serial number on it or not. And it's that questionability of it that's why it's kind of the majority of gunsmiths and FFLs just kind of shy away from doing anything with the P80s or personal made firearms for that matter.
Yeah, I will say personally, I try and not enforce, but I try and convey to my customers when they kind of bring in their P80s. I tell them, like, listen, the point of these is for you to manufacture them, because my understanding was, again, it was a gray area. When you build that gun, you are the manufacturer. The second I touch it, it becomes something completely different. And technically, I'm not supposed to be drilling holes or filing any piece of plastic because the customer.
Well, no, that's not exactly.
Well, even for like say taking it in for like say they finished it and it's not even wanting it worked on, but they might want to get it painted or something like that. That's still that type of work.
That's
still okay. Right now, you can bring in a P80 with no serial number, get it worked on with no serial number, and you have it returned to you with no serial number. That's not the case. Once it reaches the point of it being considered a firearm, all I got to do is get it to that point. I got to drill the holes, cut the tabs, file the stuff down. Then if it doesn't work, I can hand it over to you and say, hey, it's not working. And then you could do whatever the hell you want with it, because at that point it is a firearm.
Okay, so that's actually very much better clarification. Martin Kaminsky's out there. He says, how is the serialization controlled in such a way that these builds aren't getting the same serial number? That is one question I would have, because what I have to, like, what do you do with that? Like, do you have to like keep track of the serial numbers you put on guns? Is that obviously, it goes in your record books and stuff?
Yeah, of course you have to, there's paperwork and everything you have to fill out and stuff like that to actually do it, to get it on the books and everything else like that. You cannot have two same serial numbers. I think they have a whole, I could be mistaken, but I think they have a whole format.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up here on the PDF to bring it on the full screen. It does cover all that.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, how are they going to keep track of the amount of gunsmiths out there that just do serial number 1, 2, 3, 4?
Because you can't do that.
Exactly. But it's not when I mean that, it's like, okay, one person in like, Milwaukee decides to put the serial number 1, 2, 3, 4 on the.
There is a naming scheme to prevent that.
Okay, so that's more clarification. It's because I was thinking like, okay, someone in Milwaukee does it, but then someone in Texas does the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's separate guns, but the same serial number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a scheme. I just can't recall off the top of my head exactly what it is. Yeah, it's like the first 2, last 3. It all has to do with your FFL number and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So that's again, this is, we're mostly focusing on gunsmithing here, guys, because this 364 page thing covers a whole lot more. Um, uh, we're trying to keep it gunsmith
But yeah,
specific.
that's where I was trying to find it in that, but even trying to actually find something specific when you know it's in there. But it does for the FFL, you got to put like the first and last,
first two, last three. Yeah, Jeff Cron got it out there.
Oh, okay, hell yeah,
good job, Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff Cron. ADXR 920 is out there. It brings up a good question. How many people actually bring a P80 to a gunsmith? Isn't it the point to build it and figure stuff out on your own? Again, I just went over that. I've had P80s come to me before, and people are like, I don't know what to do here. And it's I think people have probably never built guns before, and they think, oh, this is something cool because that's what we all love in this. As the Second Amendment, we're able to build our own firearms. It's given us to our creator. It's an inalienable right. We're able to people have been manufacturing firearms since the beginning of the country. So you would think, oh, I'd like to build one. Okay. If you don't have the knowledge, you're going to need help. You're going to need to go to a gunsmith and be like, I don't know what to do from here. And it's more often than not, mostly with the Glocks. I haven't really had any ARs. I've never seen an AR, 80% AR and stuff like that. But Glock 80%ers, I've never seen a JSD because I don't know. It's just, I think people have, they're a little bit of apprehensive about doing that. But I personally think it's a very easy build to do. Now, in terms of MUP1s, it might be a little bit difficult now because you have to figure out how to get the serial number right on that little piece of metal that's under the frame where the grip module comes up to the frame, the fire control unit.
Well, that's a window onto the MUP1 in the grip module, so you would serialize it right there. And if you have like a laser, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Well, okay. So say if someone didn't have a laser, can you do it with a Dremel?
You can do it with a Dremel, yeah.
Like say if it like wants to be, it's pretty, they can't afford a laser. Like, would this be requiring someone to get a laser engraver for this, or someone can just take it with a Dremel and be faint?
You can do a Dremel. It's not going to look as pretty.
Again, this is why we have John Crump on to help us out. I will be flat out honest.
You're talking about marking it yourself?
Yeah,
Sorry, I was going through the comments and stuff.
Or even as a gunsmith, like if you don't have a laser engraver as a gunsmith, could you take a Dremel with a diamond bit?
I was going to say you don't even need a diamond bit. You can just get a set of punch dies and mark it that way. I mean, that's old school. All you need is a one-ton press and a set of punch dies.
Yeah, basically, it doesn't say you have to have a laser or anything. It's the regulations for marking firearms. Is the depth and the size.
The height and the depth is the only thing that it says. Don't say how you do that. You could do it with an acid etch if you can get it to meet their required depth and stuff. Just whatever process you use, that's the only specifications they give. And I think it's let me pull it up against like a 1/16 of an inch tall is the requirements, which really ain't a whole lot when you think about it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's as far as the markings and stuff. That's what I was trying to get at to explain for people that actually are gunsmiths and stuff. It's not actually changing much, other than pointing out what you are able to do at having the manufacturer license to market or not, or be able to take it in for work without it being logged in and stuff like that, to kind of get rid of some of that fear of working on or taking, like don't even bring that personal built gun in because it's not a factory firearm.
Yeah, I think that's one big takeaway I took from this ruling is it's going to inflict a lot of fear for people from not even building. Flying Rich is out there saying, who's ever been charged with not going deep enough on serial numbers? I don't know.
I know people have been charged with not going deep enough, but that's for a different string.
Yeah.
I tried keeping it PG. I kind of knew where Rich was going, but okay, you had to go there. It's all good.
Oh, sorry, and I see DLD out there. He's probably gonna be pissed because I turned down his invitation last night to go on his show.
Well, DLD, what's up,
you
my
just beat me
brother?
to it.
Hope you're doing good. Martin Kaminsky's out there saying Minor Wrinkle SKS was etched with a Dremel engraver. When I bought it, it looked like crap. Oh, okay. Now another question. My big misunderstanding. I know you guys talked about this today on the show, Crump, with Saint Vinro of Jordan JST Supply. For the whole upper receiver, lower receiver thing, it's always been the lower receiver was considered the firearm
for an AR-15.
For an AR-15,
but for SCAR, it's for receiver.
Yeah. So will this require upper receivers being serialized or no?
No. It actually specifically says in there that only one area of the firearm will be considered, I don't know, like a split receiver, like that. Only one section will be considered the firearm. It's ATF's choice.
Yeah, and the big thing is that's what everyone was all nervous about, because there are some guns that the receiver is, again, like made on a fire control unit, or it's on the upper receiver, like SCARs, or even Ruger Mark IVs. I believe the serial number is on the upper part of the pistol.
The Ruger Mark IV is specifically mentioned in there. I think, Cody, if you scroll down a little bit.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
That was two things that was specifically mentioned by name and the picture, is that the very first thing saying the AR-15 receiver is the lower part of the weapon that provides housing for the trigger mechanism, and then gives a picture outlining the lower. And then right below that, the Ruger Mark IV, and pointing out that it's the upper that housings the bolt or breech block, and then shows black and white picture of the upper for the Ruger.
Yep. I was gonna say thank you for having this open, Cody, because I'm following along on another screen. Flying Rich out there again. Big shout out to Flying Rich. Go follow his YouTube channel. Great dude, great person. He says, does any of this affect Walter Keller?
No.
If you guys are wondering who Walter Keller is, he's of Safety Harbor Firearms.
He makes a 50 caliber upper for an AR-15, but they determined that the 50 caliber uppers like that are a separate firearm on its own, that's not part of the receiver stuff that it mentions in the new rule, and so it won't change any of that, other than that where they mention in there that anybody that's submitted things for possible 80% and stuff like that has to resubmit, and they just nullified all the letters they sent out.
Yeah, all the letters are revoked.
Now, what does that mean specifically for, like, say, specifics for letters that are revoked?
That it's like it's never happened.
Oh, okay. So, for instance, Massachusetts, we have to register our 80% within 7 days of it becoming a functional firearm. If, say, someone did that, built the 80% firearm, or privately manufactured firearms, or whatever they're calling it now, are those considered like?
It has nothing to do with that. It's the manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
Have to submit the part. Resubmit.
Okay, so again, I'm thinking with states, for people that have done that and they have to, register it within, 7 days or whatever their state's guidelines is, would that make them have to re-register the firearm within that time period?
No.
Yeah. So
why is the Safety Harbor Firearms the SHTF 15, that's the upper, why is that considered two firearms in one device? That is a great question.
And I'm
pretty sure Walter would love the ATF to answer that.
Yeah, exactly. So
'Cause
yeah, again,
I can't see any reason why, but
I
I don't
know.
know.
We got C&T Designs out there in the chat. He's actually helping me clarify something, saying it's all federal and that doesn't have anything to do with state laws. But C&T Designs made me this dope plasma cut of the logo. Oh man, I love it. Big shout to C&T Designs. I always have to show this off. I'm still waiting to get the mounting thing behind me so it can go right there. So guys, check out C&T Designs on Instagram, YouTube, all over the place. He's a great dude. Um, but yeah, so that hopefully this is starting to kind of make a little bit of sense. I've always been one to, okay, I try and read these documents. I don't understand, the way these documents are written. So Crump, I do want to appreciate you coming on again for like helping us, with these clarification questions and stuff like that, because I feel like I'm out of my element here. Do my best to
And
try and
on that
understand.
note, a perfect segue, I would like to ask if you might be able to clarify some where 280 is bringing up the section on where it talks about grandfather and receivers, and it talks about their grandfather until they're disassembled or partially disassembled, then it loses the grandfather. Are you familiar with the section that he's talking about?
I am on that.
Because there's a
I
lot of folks out there that has extra uppers laying around, or even completed uppers, or some folks that even has 2 or 3 uppers for one rifle for it to be able to switch calibers and stuff, or different barrel lengths.
yeah. That was not too clear why they even put that in there, but there are multiple places where it says that that like AR-15s only have to be serialized in one place. That is one of the things where what I'm not too clear on why they put that in there, because it's basically contradicted a little bit later on. The thing with this whole entire damn thing is it's like 20 people, like I said today, it's like 20 people wrote a document, wrote different documents, and then they said, okay, you do
They
page
just
1
combined
through
it together.
5,
Yeah.
1 through that, and no one read through it to make sure it makes any sense.
That's why it says the same thing like 5 different ways in different places.
Yeah, and sometimes it contradicts itself.
Exactly. In this case, I would say for guys out there who do gunsmithing at home, or you are a gunsmith and you're listening to this right now, um, I will say, since there is a 120-day time frame, I can see there being a run on parts for people trying to get all their stuff made. So down in the next 120 days, a lot of you guys are looking to fix guns that, even if they're not personally manufactured firearms, whether it be for handguns, rifles, you name it, it's going to be. I can't imagine places like JSD or Brownells, or even honestly, you get like the distributors like Lipsy's or RSR or Sports South getting just regular parts for completion kits. It's going to be a run. If you can stock up now, I would, just because I can see people in the next 120 days trying to get all the parts needed to complete these firearms before the 120 days. And just be aware, if you're a gunsmith and you typically work on Glocks or SIG 320s or anything that you can get easily accessible parts, you might want to stock up on it now just in case. It
Well, we
seems to
already
me.
seen some of that happening too before there was any rules or the fear type buying already. When you have some of these new 3D printed designs come out, and something that, like for example, when they started doing the High Point and some of these other ones, that the parts and parts kits was cheap and readily available, but then once some of the home builders got a hold of these new designs to be doing them themselves, all them parts start drying up and they're no longer cheap and readily available. You take that from just that small group of hobbyists to anyone wanting to do it and applying it to all parts for building your own stuff. And like you said, even replacement parts for not even building your own one, but you might need to change out or upgrade parts on your AR, just regular parts that wear out. Them parts kits and stuff like that's going to start. the increased demand is gonna put a run on those.
I want to gold plate my AR. I just had a random thought.
Oh, you should go. I think you should go through Ford's Custom Refinishing in Florida.
Yeah, dude. I can't afford that.
They're not. It's not that bad. You should do it.
Gold might look nice, but I've always been partial to nickel.
Gold plating and AR. Like I want to do like a full freaking cartel build.
If you do it gold plated, you got to do it gold plated with walnut furniture.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to go cartel build.
But why would you do an AR when typically a cartel?
AK.
I was gonna say AK. Yeah, I was gonna say a cartel bill is an AK. Like
an AK.
Or you could be. We are talking about the Gunsmith Show. Have you seen the Vice video about the gunsmith in? I think he's out of Dallas, building $60,000 custom engraved pistols for a lot of folks in Mexico, and not necessarily cartels, but if you know the style, you know the style.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm always kind of weary on Vice. I don't really watch Vice that much, but at the same time, it's like, what's the legality of that? As a gunsmith, you're knowingly gold plating stuff for known cartel members. Like,
yeah, one of my former friends was one of the founders of Vice.
Former friends. Ooh, I'd hate to be on the receiving end of that.
No, it was a. We don't see eye to eye on things. We didn't get along, so better to go our separate ways. Yeah, Rich knows the whole story.
Well, that's now you got my interest intrigued. Oh, what is this? You got a video pulled up?
Yeah, I got it muted though because I don't want to.
My stream's not monetized. I gave up on monetizing my stream, so.
But yeah, this is.
Oh yeah, I've seen this dude before. Not on Vice, but he does all the hand stuff. But I don't think he actually does. He does like
grips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he does the whole thing. He hand engraves the slides, the grips, the frames, hand carves the wood, does his own inlaying, does his own metal plating.
Yeah, I've seen this dude. I mean, I don't think he just does it from people in Mexico. I think it's he does it for people from like all over.
Yeah, but then he's from Mexico, and that's what I was getting at. Is it's got that Mexican style to even like the engraving and stuff. It has that type of style to it. It's not the traditional like European or German style of engraving like we see a lot like on Colts and revolvers and stuff like that.
That is just an art form in itself. And these gunsmiths are a dying breed that know how to do this.
Well, he does it all by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no machine. I mean, he's like,
yeah, he does it. He literally does it like in the back room of their family-owned restaurant.
Yeah, he does it in the back room of the restaurant. He'll like work on it and like carve. It's all by hand. It's amazing. If you guys haven't seen that dude,
yeah, definitely go check him out. I love seeing stuff like that. But then again, then you got someone in Florida. What's his name? Edward Andrews of Edward's Custom Leather. He does like custom like leather grips out of like manta ray and rattlesnake and stuff like that.
He does a lot for like the Hollywood crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also when you think about it, anybody that's going to be paying for something that level of custom work and classiness, for lack of a better word, is going to be someone that's got a lot of money. So it's either going to be someone that's like a celebrity person or getting that money from somewhere. That's the only reason a lot of that type of stuff gets attributed to cartels and stuff like that, is because they got literal money to burn and throw away at stuff so they can pay for the most flashy thing.
If anything, I was going to gold plate. I'd probably gold plate a
Are you drinking a 2-liter bottle of soda?
We had this
That's-
conversation the other day.
The 20 ounces isn't big enough for you. What do your
2
sugar
liters
intake
cheaper.
look like?
Dude, you would think like the fat kid on the stream would be down in a 2-liter bottle. Like, god damn, the sugar. Or I just see, you know what that is for me? Acid reflux. I'd be burping up a storm forever.
Yeah, I guess I'm good on all that.
You're good on that? Damn. How do how do I have your insides? Because I wish I did. If I didn't have indigestion, I'd love my life.
Well, sometimes eating meat kind of helps.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently I have 3 kids that have just been born, so I'm going to have to be killing elk left and right to feed all 3 of them.
Or
let me
have
send you a
be
video
making
to play.
giant pots of macaroni and cheese.
Let me ship you a video to play, Cody.
I love how you're trying to pimp that $50 you spent on our show.
That was
you have to admit that was pretty funny to get him to actually do that.
You know whose idea that was?
Yeah, it was Jared from Guns and Gadgets.
Guns and Gadgets idea.
Next time I see him, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, hey, Crump said you were the one who told him to do it." So
he'll admit it. I've no doubt in my mind that he will admit it.
I know he'll admit it. But big shout out to Guns and Gadgets, by the way. If you haven't checked out, again, guys like John Crump on this stream right now, people that are watching this show, thank you all so much. Everybody in the live chat are killing it, especially 280U, killing it in the chat. DLD After Dark, Martin Kaminsky, Chad Noonan, everybody I see out there. Thank you guys so much for listening, but make sure you're checking out people like John Crump, Guns and Gadgets. There's a bunch of other people. I think who else would be a good one? I've always been adamant of I'm not a news guy. I have friends that do it way better than me, so I always try and pimp their channels over mine. But this again, guys, I know we're talking more just like gunsmith related stuff, but this rule change is going to affect everybody. And it's completely unconstitutional. 280U were saying stuff like this. If it's so vague, it should be void. Typically it's supposed to be a voided thing, and it's so vague, so no one understands it. So in comments, in the grand scheme of things, it should be null and void because no one can understand these rules. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, they're doing it so they can claim Chevron, but
yeah,
they should not be able to do that because it's a criminal statute. But
now, and that's the thing.
They would have learned their lesson once already with that.
What was the first time they used it? Just to refresh my memory, was it bump stocks?
Bump stocks, yeah, but I don't think
that was the first. That was just the most recent.
No, that was the first time they used it for a criminal statute.
Okay, so
that's why the bump stock case is so important when it's going to the Supreme Court.
I thought it got shot down.
Circuit level is an 8-8 split.
Really?
Yeah, so it falls back to the district level, which the guy ruled for the government. So now it's going to SCOTUS. There is what's called a writ of cert, basically petitioning the courts to take it.
Yep, Chad Noonan out there saying, I look forward to John Crump's articles each day on Ammoland. That's how I start my day. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we actually read it. I know my boss at Cape Gunworks actually and reads your stuff at Ammoland a lot as well.
Yeah, I was working on some other stuff today, so
we got any breaking news?
Well, it's not confirmed. So
Ron Wayne out there saying it's a shame you need 3-day class to understand new rules. I think you need more than a 3-day class to understand this one.
I was talking to some lawyers, some of the top lawyers in the firearms space, and they are so confused right now.
Well, you said that earlier today on your show that not only is every manufacturer confused, even the people that wrote this is confused because no one understands. No one does. And who wants to be the test case if they think they have it all set, and then you get the ATF knocking on their door and saying, "Hey, look at this. Hello, shoot your dog." 280s out there saying agency rules aren't allowed by a statute, let alone the Constitution, to regulate criminal code.
Exactly. That's our point.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not seeing it that way. That's the problem. That's why we have this case.
Now I can only imagine there's already lawsuits being filed over this.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah.
It takes a few days to spin them up, but they're coming.
From people like GOA and Firearms
Mhm.
Policy Coalition and all them.
GOA, FBC definitely. Second Amendment Foundation is looking into a lawsuit. I don't think they're quite ready yet. NRA crickets.
Oh, that's so.
Not saying that they're not doing anything. It's just they haven't told me or like responded to me at all. So I'm not saying crickets like they're not doing anything. I'm just saying crickets they haven't responded to me.
Yeah. Can you make some
Well, that's
calls
not
to
really
figure out what's
surprising.
going on?
Yeah.
Personally, I'm of the belief if you ever call me, I pick that phone call up on the first ring. Like,
Yeah. No, I burned them recently. So.
well, hey, you know what? That's why you do what you do, Crump. So don't. I hope you don't feel like you're. Well, I doubt you feel bad about doing it, but
I don't care.
yeah, exactly. Who cares? Like, you're doing the job that people think that you're one of the last true journalists out there in the 2A field. Other than us, there's some other ones out there, but again, this is why we have you on the show to help us kind of weed through 164 pages.
Yeah, when like VALA, the Violence Against Women Act, when they went neutral on that, I basically turned up evidence that they told members of Congress they were neutral, which they were. So, and they had to come out and admit it, and then they tried to
all voted for it, saying because they told them that they was neutral.
Yeah, and then they try to spin it how it was great for gun owners because there could have been like things that are more anti-gun.
Okay, I was going to say, Martin Kaminsky says, do you have any suspicions the gun manufacturers kind of support this ruling?
I have not heard. I've not seen anything or heard anything that's given me that impression.
Because I can see where Martin's thinking of, where it's you see, the big gun manufacturers are trying to cut out the 80% market or the private manufacturers market so they can sell more of their firearms. I'm kind of seeing where he's coming from with that, but like,
I don't think that it would be enough for it to be worth that, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, like if Glock for all the people that build P80s and aftermarket, clone Glock builds, it's not like Glock would be funding this,
Yeah,
Well, take a look at on the opposite side. Take a look at SIG, and in the last couple of years, how they've kind of embraced not necessarily the 80% home builder type thing, but like with their FCU program and getting a bunch of the different aftermarket manufacturers of the grips and parts and this and that together, and actually being able to order it through them, an actual factory, main company, like legitimizing it in a way.
Yeah, well, one thing is, I think the P80 market and stuff is such a tiny sliver of the market. I don't think it would really the risk versus reward for Glock to back something like this would be there.
Well, and also on the same time, at a big corporation thing like that, Glock, SIG, HK, any of your big name manufacturers, they have something that no P80 will ever have. Neither. You're never going to have a police or military contract for an 80% anything. It's always going to be from some type of a factory built anything. They don't take any kind of, even special forces type stuff is very rare that they'll have any kind of like experimental stuff. It's going to be some kind of proven something from a factory. And that's where the real big money comes from, because that's your big contracts for them big, insert name manufacturer here in the gun industry. So, like he said, the sliver that P80s and 80% have in that whole big pie is next to nothing to them.
Exactly. We got the safety doc in the house, guys. Go check out the safety doc. Great channel. He's pimping John Crump News. Safety doc. Thank you so much for swinging by tonight. We really appreciate it. We also see Kristen Gress out there, Man Against the Masses, Gort, everybody, all you wonderful people in the chat. Thank you so much for watching us. We really appreciate that. I'm happy we're back though. Okay, episode 4, we're coming back. All right. You know, we got to figure out how we're gonna start showing guns on this show on YouTube. What do you think, Cody? It's the Gunsmith Show. We got to start talking.
Yep.
I don't know. We got to get on YouTube to show guns, definitely. But all these shows are backed up on Utreon as well on both our channels, guys. So make sure you're following all 3 of us on Utreon. As is John Crump News also on Utreon as well?
Yeah, from time to time.
Because I know you have John Crump Live on Utreon, but I didn't know if John Crump News, both channels, get.
No, John Crump. It's just John Crump Live. Because that's what the power Utreon can share guns, but I just never have done like a show specifically on Utreon.
Yeah,
I'll have to get with Crump or Flying Rich to figure out the starting and all of that stuff on the Utreon stream so that we can do a build or something like that on here.
It was broken the other day.
Yeah, I know Rich was having all kinds of trouble with it.
Yeah, it was definitely broken the other day.
Yep. Christian Gresh out there saying, what trigger upgrade for my recent acquisition, Beretta M9A4? I would go with a Wilson Combat trigger all day long. All right, Wilson Combat trigger. I wouldn't recommend anything else. Unless, Cody, do you know of any other triggers? You're one of those, people that come out of the woodwork saying, oh, no, if you get this trigger from this company, it's actually the best thing you could ever do in the world. It's actually 10 times cheaper than Wilson Combat.
No, I was just saying for that, I would have recommended the Wilson too. So.
Have you ever tried any of the Wilson Combat triggers, Crump?
Yeah, I love Wilson Combat everything.
Wilson Combat everything. I could see you having one of those EX9s. You do, don't you?
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is the missus listening? I just did guys. Make sure you check out my channel.
I know who I want to play poker with.
All I know is I know who. If something happens, I'm going to Crump's house. But I did just post a new video today on my channel of the 2022 gun collection. It actually did very well in the first 10 minutes, but since it's already demonetized, it's not going to do anything. DLD After Dark is saying, good to see all of you spend time with your families, build a strong relationship, and it's your God. Pray for the best, expect the worst, stay safe, stay dangerous, and keep that thing on you. Liking it.
I think it's probably human to say with your God. But no, I don't. I do not have a EDC X9.
I've always wanted that's the only Wilson Combat 1911 I've ever wanted.
Dude, it's sweet though. I will give you that.
Yeah, I had one come in the shop for sight. Had to put sights on it, and I'm like, oh man, and I was just that gun made me reorganize the shop and add foam flats to all the pistol bins because I'm like, it's a Wilson Combat. If there's a single scratch on this, I'm not paying for this. So
what, a 3.5 pound trigger on there?
Yeah, it's a beautiful trigger. Oh my god, it was
it's nice. It's smooth. The over travels to minimum. The resets is crisp.
Yep,
definitely. You can tell they spent a lot of money on that trigger.
Honestly, I prefer that trigger over a Nighthawk custom. And we're a Nighthawk dealer at work. I like Nighthawk guns, but the Wilson Combat trigger, I like a little bit better than Nighthawk. Granted, I'm never going to buy a Nighthawk because I'm not in that.
The Nighthawks are nice.
Yeah, they're nice. I shot their president in 30 super carry, and that thing was such a
You shot their
shoot.
president?
Yeah. Well,
How much jail did you get for that?
sorry, the Nighthawk Customs president. It's I think it's a 6-inch 1911 chambered in 30 super carry. My boss, when that came out, I was able to. He was letting me shoot it. It was freaking awesome.
The super carry. I mean, I don't know. I think the ADC X9 looks a little bit better than the Nighthawk Customs. Anything that they have to offer.
Yeah.
But I do prefer the trigger on the Nighthawk Customs.
Really. And it's hey, it's tomato.
The Tactical Ready series is nice though. We have a different type of cut on there and everything else like that.
Yeah. I've only experienced because Massachusetts, they're not on the approved weapons roster, so we can't get Wilson Combats unless it's a target model, and I don't know if Wilson Combat makes target models that are Massachusetts compliant. So,
okay.
Yeah, it sucks, you know. I don't know, Cody. I think we just figured out our topic for next week is 1911s, gunsmithing 1911s. You want to do that?
That'll work. I'll get
because now I'm on the 1911 buzz, talking 1911 gunsmithing, man.
Woo, 1911 coming through.
I love it. I love it. I gotta get a frame for my parts kit and build a 45 ACP, my 5-inch.
Got a local blacksmith that as soon as he gets his new forge, is going to be making me some billet blanks to make a 1911 frame and slide out of.
Look at you! I want to get one of those Caspians or the Brownells serialized frames, but it's a process. You know, I say I want to do it, and it's going to take forever to just get the goddamn frame in. And it's weird because I work at a gun shop, so I literally could just buy it and have it shipped to the shop and do the 4473 and all that, but I'm lazy. That's why an M&P upgrade series on my channel has taken almost 2 years because I don't.
I was going to say, you've been talking about that since I first started paying attention to your channel and we started talking a bunch.
I know. I suck. I do. But I will say, if you guys want to check out some Alien Gear holsters, check them out. Got the level 2 drop leg for a Glock 19. This is dope. I'm doing a 1911 build next. DLD, hit me up if you need any help. I did take an advanced armorers course at the Sonoran Desert Institute on 1911 building. Built a few at the shop. I would love to help you out if you need any questions, my friend. Cody, I think we kind of covered exactly what this ruling is meant for gunsmiths. Guys, again, I would definitely recommend you guys reading through this 364-page document. If you are a gunsmith or you're just a gun owner that likes to build your own guns, you'd want to be informed. I'm excited to see what GOA and Firearms Policy Coalition have to combat this ruling, and I hope it goes straight to the Supreme Court and it just knocks everybody's teeth in, because this is completely unconstitutional. I don't believe in it. It's going to make a gunsmith's life a lot harder. Well,
think of how many gunsmith shops out there is already kind of backed up on work to start with, and then you add in like stuff that's not really necessary. You know, it's going to create a bigger backlog.
Yeah. I just want to comment on something out there. 280 says the Dagger is one of his best budget builds. I ran 500 rounds through one today.
Ooh.
Without a single failure.
I want a Dagger so bad.
Yeah,
they had one. Accurate. They had one at the gathering that they had already ran like a couple thousand rounds through, and it was brand new.
Yeah. PSA is doing some great stuff, man. I just want seriously, the second I'm out of this state and I have a concealed weapons permit, PSA is getting a lot of my money. Same as Q from Q LLC. They are getting a lot of my money as well. Oh my God, I can't wait to just fill my safe with PSA stuff. But all right, Cody. So I think we are going for just about an hour now, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode 4 of the Gunsmith Show. Cody, do you want to take us home?
yeah, y'all just make sure y'all, love one another and pay attention to what's going on around you and stuff,
Hippie.
because things is going nuts out here. And as I always say, y'all be good.
Yeah. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Shooting Gallery NE on YouTube, TikTok. I am unbanned on TikTok finally, so check me out on the TikToks. Hit that follow button. Also on Instagram at Shooting Gallery New England, one word. We're also on Facebook, but I despise Facebook, so I don't use it that much. We're on all streaming platforms as well as Utreon. Go follow Swamp Dog Armory on YouTube, Instagram, Utreon, you name it, and also check out. Actually, you know what, John Crump? You can tell people where to find you. Okay, you do it best. So you get the last word. Tell people where they can find all your content, all your articles, everywhere.
Yes, I just launched a new website that I haven't had a chance to talk about, and I will talk about it right here, right now with all of you guys. It is called joestriplets.com.
Better not be a real website. I'm saying that right now.
I was going to say, you physically type it in and pull it up.
Don't pull it up.
It's going to be something
sweet.
you don't think.
Site cannot be reached. Okay, so that was a lie. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's all I really have.
Okay, so follow John Crump on John Crump Live, John Crump News, The Real John Crump on Instagram. He's not on TikTok, but he's also on Utreon. Follow him on all social media.
I'm on TikTok.
Oh yeah, you are on TikTok. I forgot. I followed you the other day, but you don't post anything.
Yo,
I'm on TikTok.
I'm doing testing.
What are you testing?
I'm not saying.
Then why? Okay, so what? You can't just say, "Oh, I'm testing something." What are you testing?
Stuff.
Are you just getting on weird sides of TikTok that you're like, "Why am I on this?"
No. I'm just testing to see. I'm trying to understand the TikTok algorithms and stuff like that to better help people target TikTok audiences and stuff.
Well, hopefully, once you figure it out, you and I can have a conversation to get from 12.5 thousand to over 100,000. Who knows? Maybe even 1 million.
Yeah, so I'm just but I needed a TikTok account to monitor different things.
Nice.
Leave it to Crump to be figuring out the algorithm.
It's always obviously
it's like not on my phone. It's on a simulation phone. That's the best way.
AKA his burner phone.
No, it's not a burner phone. It's basically a simulation phone. It's a virtual phone.
All right, sweet. All right, guys, make sure you check us out next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 8 p.m. Central Time if you're in a weird time zone. For episode 5 of the Gunsmith Show, we're going to be talking 1911 builds. Thanks to John Crump because he is getting me talking about 1911s, which is my place. I love it.
Joe.
Any of y'all that's out there that would like to submit pictures of your 1911 build, hit me or Shooting Gallery New England up on Instagram before next week.
Yeah. Joe called me today. Said, "Hey, can you do the show today?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it." Then all of a sudden, I see John Crump's going to be on the show.
That was Cody. That wasn't me. That was Cody, and I texted Cody saying, "Hey, did you confirm with Crump?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't heard back yet." I'm like, "Well, you might want to figure that out." So that I will admit that is on the Swampy of Swamp Dog. But yeah, check us out next week.
Yeah, that was my fault.
It's all good.
It's all right.
Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to all. And we will see you next week for episode 5 of the Gunsmith Show. Have a good one, everybody.
Y'all be good.